G'day guys, Gordon here from Guardians of Freedom. Just want to put a quick shout out, a quick hello to all of our members over in the UK, in the US and in all the other countries that we've got on board. I know there's a whole array of countries. We've got branches in the United States and in the UK setting up, so that's why a special shout out to the guys over in the US and the UK. So thanks guys for coming on board. And thanks for being part of Guardians of Freedom, our network that we're creating. It's a global network. The video I'm putting together, I just want to, make a special mention to Marianne, who's one of the founders of the United States branch. And she had been asking me for a while if I could put some material together on why it's important to have an international network, because at some point she came across quite a few members who pretty much said, look, I'm just here for the United States and I don't need to join another group that's overseas, that has branches overseas. And I just want to explain why it's so important. So when we talk about the globalists, okay, just think about that word. They're global. The problem isn't just in one country. They have their tentacles everywhere. I don't refer to them as the globalists. I refer to them as the central banksters, the international central banksters. They don't work in one country. Now they've got their tentacles and therefore control of the resources of just about every country. Okay. Now, going on from there, if you were somehow able to restore your nation into its proper function and proper democracy, you're going to have an issue coming from international. You're going to have an international pushback. Behind that will be the central banksters who will basically make up a good story, and you won't be able to control that story, and they will go to work and do what it takes to take the country back again. Okay, it's not a simple problem, and so you've got to think a little bit more complex. When you think internationally, at the end of the day, it has to be done that way because that's how their structure is. So when we sat down and we've put together the action plan, everything we do, we do a lot of strategy on. We run a lot of analysis on so in business you do your SWOT analysis, your strengths, your weaknesses, excuse me, your opportunities and your threats, and you look at your risks for every move you make. And so we've pretty much done that every step of the way with the action plan. We started as an Australian group, and then at some point we saw that there would be an international risk if we were able to achieve what we wanted to achieve. Now that is something every country needs to keep in mind. It doesn't matter how big your country is, there are other countries that can send over whatever resources they send over. Okay, so that's bottom line. Now that's why we decided to go to get branches happening in every country, and at the end of the day, what our action plan's about is acting in unison, acting synchronized at the same time in every country. And if we can do that, that's your best way to mitigate that risk. Okay, if you don't know about our action plan, go have a look at it. Look, I'm not saying this to boast, but I to date haven't seen another group that has an action plan that would actually work. Okay, but we've spent a lot of time looking at it. It's pretty, what we require with this action plan, it requires a lot, but we've done a lot of calculation on just about every area, and I'll talk about that in a separate video. You can go in and have a look at it on our MeWe page if you're interested. Go have a look, and don't be one of those guys that decides to copy it and replicate it, because if you couldn't think about it, then you'll make a mistake somewhere down the track. So go have a look at it and really start thinking about why it's important to have an international synchronization. Okay, it's that simple. It's not that it's good to help others in other countries. I mean, hey, that's awesome if that's what's driving you. I mean, that's part of what's driving me to want to work internationally. But at the end of the day, it has to be done that way, okay? Or it's just not going to work. You're going to have a massive kickback coming back at you to boot you right back out. Alrighty, guys. What else can I say about that? What are some of the other reasons? That's your main reason, okay? It's an international problem. The tentacles are in everywhere, and they'll use other resources from other countries to sort out the countries that manage to restore freedom and democracy. That's what they'll be doing. Okay, guys, so hopefully that made sense to you. I'm just thinking if there's any other main factors. Those are the main ones. So thanks again to everyone who's there. Now, if that makes sense to you, go and talk to your buddies in the movement and pass it on. And even if they've got their own plan, that's great. If our plan isn't, up to speed, we'll change it, and we'll go to your plan. So one of the things with our group is we're flexible. We're not about ego. We're about logic. So if somebody can logically explain to us that their plan works better, we'll switch it. But what we're asking people to do is check out our plan. And if you think that makes sense, come and join us. Okay, don't steal the plan, like I said before, because if you didn't have the intelligence to work it out before, how are you going to do that when you get to the next problem, the next challenge that you come up to? So give us logic though. If you think you've got an awesome plan, let's change it. We'll change ours. But it is so important that we work in unison internationally. It has to be done that way. It will not work any other way. Okay? It's really that simple. So, and yeah, our plan's not some fluffy, nonsense that's not going to work. Our plan's not based on, I guess, unreal ideas. As I said, we've done a lot of analysis on the risks and what it's going to take. So please, guys, keep growing. Share this out there with your friends and anybody that's concerned. And the simplest way to do it is to flick a link to people you know and say, hey, this is something we're doing to get involved in restoring democracy and freedom. But another thing you can do is visit other groups and just simply have a chat. I chat with a lot of people on different group posts, and I just drop in our link wherever I chat, and then we get tons of new members coming that way. You can call it spamming. I'm not ashamed to spam for what we're doing, because what we're doing, I'm not making money from it. What we're doing is for the country. Okay, guys. Now, a note on that. I know a lot of people have patriotic feelings about what's going on, and that's fine. That's awesome. I know, I love my country. I love Australia, and I know the people in the US have patriotic feelings towards the United States, and that's awesome. And that doesn't need to go away just because we work internationally. Just like the guys in the UK, they love their country, and that's cool. We don't need to take that away, okay? But we do need to work in unison, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. It's just not going to work. It's like this. You go into one, you take the one back, and the 10 will just pounce on that one, and it'll be done. Alrighty, guys. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to add something in the comment section. Otherwise, keep it growing, guys, and take care out there.